I'm Hulk Hogan, the greatest wrestler of all time.
We're not worthy! We're not worthy!
A spaceman, huh?
No, actually, I'm a plumber.
New World Order.
Honestly, I can't go anywhere without getting a boner.
How you doing?
I live my life!
Woo!
The Rock says,
Sweet baby Jesus in the office!
Hi everyone, welcome to WrestleRock Podcast. I'm your host, Nostrada Ben, and I'm very proud to host this episode with my colleague, Jonathan. How you doing, friend?
Yes, I'm going great. So, thank you, everyone. You're watching a WrestleRock Podcast, and tonight, ladies and gentlemen, we have a special guest, and he is a former six-time WWE Hardcore Champion, one-time European Champion, one-time Tag Team Champion with Mankind, and he's also a former ECW, a TNA talent, and now we're talking with the current OVW owner, Mr. Hal Snow. How are you doing today, my friend?
I'm doing very well, and thank you for having me on your show. I really appreciate it.
It's a pleasure.
Yes, this is awesome that you agree our invitation. As I said, you are very busy with your new acquisition. Congratulations, first of all. So I imagine that you have a lot of things about this new project. So we know that your friends Doug Basham came back to the ring earlier. So we follow you on Fight on Fight TV. So we invite you to watch all their amazing events.
The big one.
Honestly, this is very cool. The production is very nice, and mostly the talents are
Amazing.
So we go forward immediately with some question. Go ahead, my friend.
Yeah, of course. Mr. Sarvin, first of all, why did you decide to become a pro wrestler?
Why did I decide to become a pro wrestler? A lot of people have asked me that over the years, and quite honestly, I don't know. After 40 years, I still don't have an answer for that.
Okay.
You know, I made that decision when I was 14 years old that was what I was going to want to do to make a living and have a career. And it's never been easy, but it's been amazing, and I've been very blessed to get to do what I love to do for as long as I've gotten to do it. I say that all the time, and I sincerely mean it. But I don't think if it's something that you really have a passion for, I don't think that you can ever quantify why it is you want to do it. You just feel driven to do something. And, I'll ask that question of young hopefuls who come up to me and, I want to be a professional wrestler. And the first thing I'll go, why do you want to be? And if they have an answer, I'm like, you probably shouldn't do it. Because it's the people that can never really properly put it into words or even understand themselves why they pursue something that gives them the best chance to be successful.
And who is the guy who gave you the best chance? Who is your first trainer?
The individual that broke me in that when I at that time, because I broke in 1982, so it was a different. There were still
long time ago, if you know what I mean.
20 years ago.
Very long time. And there were still rules of conduct. There were still rules of etiquette. There were, and there were consequences to not following those rules. And so when you were brought in, it was almost like an apprenticeship. You were brought in under a particular person, and it was their responsibility to protect their own careers and their own livelihood, to ensure that you knew everything that you possibly needed to know so that you were not a threat to doing business. And Jim Lancaster was the man who was willing, finally convinced him to take me under his wing and take responsibility for me and put his name on me. And, and I can't thank him enough.
And you're starting your career, except for All Snow gimmick. What was your favorite gimmicks and why? You know that you are wrestling with for Smoky Mountain and stuff like that. So before All Snow, we know that you were working with Avatar, working at Leif Cassidy, and
Leif Cassidy
exactly.
with Marty Jannetty.
Yes, exactly. What was your favorite gimmicks and why?
I mean, I've look, there's an incredibly wide world of wrestling outside of WWE. I know that may shock some people, but there were at one time in the United States and in Canada, there were, regional territorial offices, and each office had a different direction, different vision, different idea. They all sold exactly the same thing. We were all unified in selling the exact thing. So you were able to go from one place to another. But, you'd go in for one and they'd have an idea for you as this. You'd go in and for another and they'd have an idea for you as something else. And it's integral that you develop that side of you, because to really truly be a star, an attraction, which is ultimately what you're really endeavoring to do, you need to know who you are so that the audience can describe you in a sentence or less. I've said that for years now, that it's absolutely essential for, the fans to be able to describe you to their friends and family, that there's this person and they're A, B, C, D, E. I mean, and if you think about it, anytime you really, really, really were caught up with a professional wrestler, whether they were a heel or a babyface, you were able to turn to your friends and family and go, hey, you got to watch a show. There's this person and they're A, B, C, D, E. And succinctly, you were able to describe them. And I've had lots of different iterations of gimmicks. I've been a tag team wrestler lots of times. I've been, world tag team champion long before I was in WWE. I've been regional champions, United States champion for the NWA. I've been, and those don't, that's 6 of one, half a dozen another. But I've been a heel. I was a heel for 14 years of my career initially. And as Al Snow, as part of the Fantastics, as the part of the Sensational, as part of the Motor City Hitmen, as part of, any different number of teams, been, and that really was, I think, one of the things that kind of held me back for so many years. It was not having that definable personality and not developing it until I went to Smoky Mountain. And then I had that, I was a smart ass, smarmy, condescending, chicken heel. Somebody would be willing to talk a good fight, and then unless the guy's back was turned, wouldn't do it. And then when I came into WWE, that was Vince's efforts to try to help create, because he knew and understood how important it was, because ultimately the only two things that we're selling in professional wrestling to an audience, the only two things that as an audience they're buying is who you are and why you're in the ring and to do what you're doing. That's ultimately it. And it's very important. And, I came in and, they gave me the Avatar thing, gimmick, and I dropped the ball. If I'd known then what I know now, probably could have been a lot more successful with it. And then I became Leif Cassidy, which was a great, opportunity with Marty, because Marty does not get, and I've said this numerous times on other interviews, Marty does not get the appreciation or the respect that Marty deserves. Granted, Shawn Michaels, great personality, charisma, etc. Marty taught Sean a lot of what he knows today. And Marty was an incredible worker. Marty was very self-destructive and didn't handle things well in the back, in the locker room and in the, and politically. But, there's a reason why Vince McMahon continuously brought Marty Jannetty back after Marty would literally burn things to the ground. And then, Vince would give him another opportunity, and then Marty would do something and Vince would give him another opportunity that other people would never have gotten those many opportunities. And that's because Marty was so incredibly talented and
very, very talented and
I think, the perspective and the perception is that
Marty is behind the scene of the careers of Shawn Michaels. It's a little bit like Ted DiBiase with Virgil or many other guys.
Jim Neidhart with Brett.
Yeah, it's practically the same thing. So, hell.
So, okay, Mr. Sarven, you wrestled in Smoky Mountain Wrestling. What was it like to work with one of the most influential men in the business as Jim Cornette?
Well, I love Jim Cornette. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Sure.
Okay.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, I love Jim Cornette. I think Jimmy is amazing. I think he's so hyper intelligent and such a student of the wrestling business. And I'll forever be grateful to Jimmy to have had that opportunity to work in Smoky Mountain and to work with him. I've known Jimmy since the early '80s, and I have nothing but absolute respect for Jimmy. I think he's amazing.
Yeah, and do you remember why you were replaced Bob Holly at Survivor Series 1995?
By Bob Holly.
To be clear, you were supposed to be part of the underdogs with Jannetty, Akushi, and Barry Horowitz. And you were supposed to be against the Body Donnas with Skip Radford, Tom Richards, and X-Pac, a.k.a. 1-2-3 Kid.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't know exactly what transpired there.
Okay.
What the I couldn't. If I told you any kind of answer, it would just be pure speculation. I mean, I really, I wasn't privy to the inner workings of what the office and what their decisions were. I don't know.
Okay. Which of these two matches did you prefer in ECW against Chris Benoit in 1995 in a 15-minute match that was hailed as one of the best of the year, or against the former ECW champion Shane Douglas at WrestlePalooza 1998, and why?
I loved them both. I know everybody asks that question. What was your favorite match? What was your favorite match? Listen, every time I have gone in the ring, it's just such an amazing experience to do so. And I could not pick just one particular match that I favor more than another. I love every minute of every time I've ever been in that ring.
Yeah, and you're talking about pleasure in ring, so I imagine that the head imaginary is who is behind this idea? Is it you or something else? Or
Head and I were developed together. I came up with the idea, and we've had a wonderful yet contentious relationship ever since.
Okay.
What was your reaction when you found out you were doing the opening match of WrestleMania 15 in Philadelphia against Billy Gunn and Hardcore Holly for the WWF Hardcore Championship?
I was very excited to be a part of it, and I don't think when you look back, you don't realize how monumental an honor and how great an opportunity it is, because you're so deep in the forest at the time. You don't really. And to me, when I was doing it, WrestleMania was another show, because whether there were 10 people or 10,000 or 100,000, I'm going to go out there and I'm going to just go 100% no matter what. And so that was my viewpoint. But now when I look back on it, I realize, it was an incredible opportunity to be featured on that show. And I wish that I had had more of that perspective at the time, because I just didn't have, I guess, the worldview to really appreciate the stage that I was given.
Yeah, and in addition, you wrestle with Billy and Hardcore Holly, two of the
Experienced guy.
Well, yeah, with a good performer, so that's a perfect fit. And in WrestleMania, that's very, very great. Well, which we were talking about
Wrestling team.
wrestling teams. So you participate with Job Squad, Mick Foley, Marty Jannetty, that you're talking earlier, with Steve Blackman also. So
TZ.
I imagine that we probably know the answer, but which partners did you enjoy teaming up with the most? I imagine that probably all of this, but
Yeah. It was always, everybody had their strengths. Everybody, every partner was a different chemistry. The chemistry with Marty was completely different than it was anybody else. And I learned so much with Marty, both in and out of the ring. The partnership with Mick was fun, and, and I really think we had a lot of potential to go on to even greater things. Steve and Steve's such an awesome guy, and, to be able to, he was such a great straight man. The vignettes that we did while we were together, they were so popular. They got the highest rated segments on SmackDown, when we were doing them. And, every one of them was completely different and unique, but every one of them were so enjoyable and in their own way. They really were, a blast to be a part of.
During your career, you have been a coach for Tough Enough. So go ahead, my friend.
Yeah, can you talk about your Tough Enough coaching experience?
Sure. I think Tough Enough is probably one of the things I'm very, very proud of as far as, in the wrestling business. It was such a great vehicle to recruit new talent, to develop and broaden the audience for professional wrestling. It was a wonderful vehicle to, if you were already a wrestling fan, to increase your appreciation of just exactly how much hard work and effort and that it goes into to be one, and not just to get in, but on a continuous basis. I think that it was a great vehicle for me. It gave, to this day, people still come up to me and, express how much they loved that show and loved me being on it, and the kids. And, what a wonderful, I can't say enough positive things about Tough Enough. It was such a wonderful experience for me to be a part of the wrestling business and yet kind of doing my own thing. And I really, really enjoyed it. It was really a terrific time.
And about, I don't remember how many seasons.
Four, I think four.
Yeah,
I think four.
I remember one of the guys called Maven. Well, do you think that Maven consider you as a mentor?
Yeah, I think. I'm not going to speak for Maven, but I would imagine Maven and I have a really special relationship. Actually, all of the kids on Tough Enough, I have a really wonderful relationship with each and every one of them, and that was a blessing that came out of being a part of it, was developing these relationships with all these kids, and I'll be forever grateful to have had that experience.
Okay. About OVW, Danny Davis was the first owner of OVW. In April 2018, you acquired the OVW wrestling promotion. Why did you decide to buy a wrestling promotion, and mostly OVW, before Howl?
Who knows? I don't know. Maybe I decided life was too boring and I wanted to rib myself. Running a wrestling promotion it's a monster. I don't know how as I get older, I continuously develop new levels of respect for Vince McMahon for different reasons. And I got to tell you, since I bought OVW, running OVW and trying to achieve what I'm trying to achieve here, it's a monster. I mean, it's a nonstop, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year monster. Mm-hmm. And that's here on this level. I cannot even begin to fathom what it takes, or what it has taken for Vince to achieve the success that he has achieved on the level that he's achieved it and then maintain it. The man's incredible. And we should all, every one of us that are wrestling fans, should give him, instead of berating and belittling him, we should all tell him, immensely thank you. Because if it weren't for him, the wrestling business right now and you love to harangue and shit on, that wouldn't exist. It just wouldn't. And be aware of that. You all think, everyone out here listening right now and watching this podcast, you all think that you could even some way, to some degree, be able to manage and to achieve that kind of success or make it even more successful. You're insane. Because I personally, this is all I've done for a living, and the biggest challenge I have ever had is I'm undertaking right now, which is managing OVW and trying to grow it. It just words cannot describe to you, how much of a challenge it is, and the intricacies and the nonstop fires that you constantly have to run around and put out. No sooner have you put one out, there's another tree that's caught on fire, and it's, imagine the California forest fires, and you're trying to put them all out with one single bucket of water.
I imagine so. And when you take the decision, it is what it is, my friend.
If you make a decision, it affects your responsibility, and your decisions affect everyone. And of course, everyone second guesses and knows better than you, because even though they don't get to see the full picture, they assume that because they have a bit of information that they now have a knowledge that equates to what you understand. And you never win. If this succeeds, if OVW really finally, tips over the mountain and succeeds, well, then we all have succeeded. But if OVW fails, let's be honest, at the end of the day, I failed. Nobody else part of OVW will fail. I will, and so I realized that, and why did I do it? Like I said, that was not the plan. That was not in my vision. That wasn't in my goals. It wasn't the direction. But I met my business partner, Chad Miller. He was the executive director of the Kentucky Wrestling Boxing Commission at the time. I went to the board meeting of the Kentucky Boxing Wrestling Commission to appeal to them to create standards for professional wrestling training. Okay. I'd already addressed those concerns with Maryland and Louisiana and several other states that have wrestling commissions, and they all blew me off. And I found it insulting that in any state in the United States that you want to be a licensed professional in any other vocation, hairdresser, masseuse, barber, mortician, you had to attend a state accredited school. You got to be taught by a state accredited teacher. You've got to complete a number of hours of training. You've got to have a certain amount of residency training, hands-on experience before you can even take a test to get your license to practice that vocation. In professional wrestling in the United States, and I'm sure it's probably the same in Canada, you literally just pay your money and you get a license and you're done. That's it. You might have to take a physical, but that's the extent of it. And anyone can get a hair up their ass and can proclaim, you know what, I know enough about professional wrestling. I'm now going to teach people, even though they may have never had the experience that actually equates to real knowledge that they can then communicate to a prospective student. They just rent a building, they get a ring, and off we go. They start training people. And because of that lack of standards and that lack of accountability in regards to training, that has led to the degradation of professional wrestling. And it frustrates me. But ultimately, that was how I met Chad Miller. And then one thing led to another, and Danny was ready to retire, and he broached the subject, and ta-da, here I am. So.
Well, go ahead, my friend.
Okay, currently you wrestled in a tag team match with Doug Basham on the OVW called The Big One event live on Fight TV, and you defeated Joe Mack and Adam Revolver. Can you talk about this experience?
Well, it was I did it really primarily. I did it for a number of reasons. One is that, I wanted to, it was special because typically I tried very, very hard not to put myself on the show in any manner because, regardless of what anybody would think, if you're in front of the camera as a talent, you should not be in the office or in charge of the show backstage. Mm-hmm. There should be a delineation between the two because there's always a conflict of interest. Even if it's just no more than I'm trying to focus on and sell everyone else in OVW, but the minute that I become a part of the show, that focus shifts to some degree from everyone else to now just solely me. Mm-hmm. I've got to be worried about me and my segment, my match, whatever. And so I really go out of my way not to. I'm very reticent about wanting to put myself on the show. But, I got talked into it by my other business partners and I did it as a special attraction to kind of really boost the attention for the show, that particular show. I'm not going to be doing anything with it going forward, I can assure you. Not that I know of. I mean, if it's good business, I'll do it. But really, I don't like to, like I said, because I want to try to keep that focus as much as possible on everyone else, on all of the other talent. I can still physically go and do what I need to do and not be an embarrassment. And as long as I can do that, occasionally I'll pop up doing things here and there. But my focus with OVW is to build and create opportunities and a platform to sell all of the other talent. But it was a great, really fun match, and we really got an incredible reaction out of the audience. And I hope that for the talent that were watching, they could see how, Doug and myself took little or nothing. And did little or nothing, and we worked towards things and made even the smallest thing mean as much as possible. That then really elicited a reaction and entertained an audience, and more so than just doing 100 things. And that I hope was I also did it as an example and a lesson. And another lesson I learned from Vince McMahon for years, and that is that I'll never ask anyone to do anything that I wouldn't do myself. So.
Yeah, so for ending, my friend, so my partner, Benoit, a.k.a. Nostradamus Ben, tried to predict your future, so go ahead.
First of all, Mr. Sarven, thank you so much for the interview. It was huge, amazing. It was a pleasure.
Thank you.
Okay, and I predict you many success with your OVW business and, of course, OVW talents.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're on the right way. You know what I mean?
Yes, thank you very much. I'm
welcome.
I'm hoping that the future will continue to allow OVW to not just survive, but thrive and grow. And, my endeavor, my goal is to create a platform where young up-and-coming talent can develop themselves and get opportunities on grander, bigger stages, and also to create a platform that allows former talent that were on bigger stages to come back, have a place to reinvent themselves, and then get another opportunity to do it again. So.
And you have a good asset with Al Snow, Doug Basham, and many other in the direction. So
Absolutely.
Yes. We wish you all the best with your promotion. Thank you so much. Once again, it was a pleasure and an honor. Thank you so much, my friend, and have a great day.
Thank you guys very much. I really appreciate the time. Best of wishes,
Goodbye.
guys. Take care.
Yes, take care.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.